Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is Shabbos. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbaton. Since when did the Shabbat exist? Since creation. When God created the world, on the seventh day he stopped. Yom HaShvi Shabbat. Now, when the Jewish people came into existence, specifically when they got the man to feed them in the desert, a new concept was added. Moshe told the people on the sixth day, today you're going to collect a double portion, because tomorrow there won't be any. Tomorrow will be Shabbaton, Shabbat Lashem, a new concept, Shabbaton. First of all, what does Shabbat mean? Shabbat doesn't mean being inactive. Shabbat means you stop doing. Shabbat means to desist from what you were doing. And that's what God did on the seventh day. What happened on the seventh day in the desert to the Jewish people? What happened to them was that they stopped for somebody else. Till then, Shabbat existed. The laws of nature worked as God had set them up. There were no more changes. The routine. When the man started giving to the Jewish people and stopped on the seventh day, there the Jewish people had to stop making efforts, to stop making an effort for a livelihood. The creation was done in such a way that people have to work in order to live. Nowadays things are more complex, but basically God put Adam into the Garden of Eden, L'Ovda U'L'Shamra, to work it and to guard it. And that was a routine. When the Jewish people came into existence, a new concept came up. You don't have to make your regular efforts. There's one day a week where you stop, and that was called Shabbaton. Why is that so important? Because man was put in charge of the earth. As we said before, he has to continue working, not only for himself, but to develop the world. His work is important because God created the world in such a way that man has to complete it. The last words at creation is Asher bara Elokim la'asot, which God created for completion's sake. I recently mentioned the story of Rabbi Akiva, where the Russian governor Tunus Rufus asked him, what is better, God's creations or man's creations? So in answer, Rabbi Akiva presented he excused himself for a moment and came back with a sheaf of wheat in one hand and a fancy cake in the other hand. Says, this wheat is the creation of God, this is the creation of man. Obviously saying that man's creations are better. Tunus Rufus says, I was going to ask you, why do you perform circumcision? If God created man with a foreskin, why do you try to improve him? So Rabbi Akiva said, I knew that what you had in mind, and that's what I gave my answer. In any case, man has been put in charge of the world to complete it. Now when somebody is like a governor in the world, when a person is in charge of such a job, there's a tendency to forget who the real owner is. You do what you want, God doesn't interfere with you, so you feel that you're the boss. And it's a very risky business. In order to avoid this problem, God commanded the Jewish people as a model for all the nations, one day a week to cease and desist from doing their work. That means one day a week you hand the world back to God. So you shouldn't think that you're the real owner. That is a major significance of the commandment to stop work on Shabbat. There's another significant meaning to the stopping the work on Shabbat, and that is to take out time. When you make this effort of working the world, of perfecting the world, completing it, you tend to forget what you're doing it for. You need to take out time to think deeper ideas. And that idea is also Shabbat is meant not only to stop the creative process, but also to rest, to have time off. And if we look at the two versions of the Ten Commandments, there's one version in Pashat Yitro where it says, "Sheshet yamim tavod osiza kamlachtecha, yom hashvi'i tishbos, lo ta'aseh kol melacha." That we are commanded to work 6 days. On the seventh day, you have to stop. That's the commandment to hand the world back to God. To remind you that God created the world during 6 days, and the world is this. In the other version of the Ten Commandments, in Pashat Vayitchanan, it says, "Leman yanuach shocho v'chamocho v'yinofesh ben amotecha." I have it written down here. "Leman yanuach avdecha matcha kamocha," that your servants will rest just like you, to provide rest for yourself and for the servant. So both these ideas are important. Let's first discuss the importance of handing over